Hello, and welcome to episode 1, turn 1 of my Hinnom multiplayer series. Before you could see the standard opening messages, but here is my starting position. You can see I am in Plains, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 provinces in my capital ring, which is a very good start. It'll give us a lot of access to expansion paths, gives us 2 provinces with good resources in it, and hopefully we won't be pinned in by bad independents early on, like cavalry or possibly barbarians. So, because this is a cartographic revisions map, we can know where all the nations start by loading it in single player, and I did that before starting this game. Zooming out, you can sort of see most of the map. This is the left side here, and this is like the edge of the bottom, and you can see it here. In the game, we have Arcocephaly, Marverni, Zoromadia, Mictlan, Thetis, Rus, myself as Hinnom, Baratos, and Atlantis for our water nation. You can see the names. I won't go over them. You can read them yourself. For thrones, you need 10 points to win, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thrones. So we need 5 out of the 9 thrones to win. So, since this is the cartographics revision map, we know who's directly next to us. And on the left, we have Mictlan here. On our south, I think it's here, we have Rus. In the north is Baratos. In the northeast is, who is that, Zoromadia. And those are our direct neighbors that have access towards our capital. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 thrones sort of within our immediate sphere of influence, I would guess. Influence, is that the right thing to say? Within very short range of us. These 3 are 2 provinces away if you don't count the river crossing. This one's 3 provinces away, but after that, a 5th throne is quite a ways away. For the starting turn, we're prophetizing the commander, and we're sending the scout north towards this forest. So how I use my scouts in my prophet slot is I like profiting my commander for most nations and using my scout as a scout to lead in front of my expansion party, so I can avoid bumping other nations with possible awakes or their expansion parties. And I'm prophetizing the commander for its combat bonuses in spamming Smite or Sermon of Courage. For our starting army, we have 12 units. Have these Avite light infantry, and we have these Avite swordmen. The light infantry have javelins, and we are recruiting more light infantry for their javelins, and we're recruiting a Horite shaman to start off. We have a bit of gold. Is there mercenaries available? No, there is only underwater mercenaries, so no luck there. Is there anything else? I think that covers it. Let's get to turn 2. We have proclamations from the players for their prophets. I think Atlantis is the only one with a custom name. The rest are just their standard names. See, he went with Sweet Clyde for his prophet. So for our independence, we can see we have pretty good independence actually. It's a lot of bad human monkey troops. We have one province with a bunch of heavy cavalry, one province with a bunch of horse tribe cavalry. So those two are the ones that are going to give the most difficulty. But luckily our two forests have very weak independence in them. One thing that didn't go our way is our candle spread has only stayed in our capital, so we don't get any early information on what the gold and resources are in the provinces around us. So scouts heading in front of my army. My army's leading on to these Markata and Atavi infantry independents. So because Baratos is relatively close to my north, I want to sort of expand towards him so I can claim like this land around this throne first. I don't potentially see a lot of people racing towards like my left here. There's a lot of land between myself and Miklin. In the northeast, Saramadia has a lot of land around him as well. I don't necessarily see him rushing towards me, but it's possible. Satis is here, so he has Satis to sort of race for this middle ground, which might be what he would focus. It's what I'd expect him to focus. And Russ below me, here, has a lot of paths around him. I imagine he's gonna try to focus on getting the chokes around him. So that's either west, south, or the best would be to go east for him. But he's a little bit restricted with the throne here. And with this being a farm, it's possible there's some scary cavalry around there to block him off. I do have a good chunk of land between me and Russ, but the rivers block a lot of the flow of provinces. And since these heavy cavalry sort of block me from going southeast, and it's a bit awkward for me to say, like, go down this line and try to get land from Russ. If I get like bad independence around here, it might not be worthwhile. So, let's show you the formation. I'm sending this Horite Shaman with my expansion party to immediately begin site searching. I want the nature, primarily I want to find nature income so I can get fine shields and regeneration amulets later, since I don't have native nature gem income. But it's 3 level 1 paths, so he's pretty good as our early site searcher. He can contribute a little with spamming some skeletons to add some HP to the battlefield. He doesn't have spam whatever the fear spell is. There's a death one fear spell, might be Thom 1. That might be better than doing animate skeleton. Here's our formation. We have the javelin infantry in the front on fire command. Then we have our sword infantry behind them on hold and attack, and our prophet in the back spamming our smite heavenly strike, which is the lightning variant. Does 10 armor negating damage, and extra effect on damage is another bonus 5 damage. So I guess it's sort of dividing up the damage, so lightning resistance could be doubly effective. I think that's it. Is there... Oh, there's recruitment. We can get this accuracy going. We're recruiting our first army with the random paths to get research started. We also don't have the gold to do Melkurts or balls yet. We don't really want to do them since they cause unrest in the capital, and it would hinder my early game gold income. I think I'm doing some javelin infantry with some charioteers to try that for my second expansion party. I was having middling success with charioteers in my practice games, and I decided to try it in this game. That's it for this turn. Go to turn 3. And we have late profits from Raverni Micklin. That looks like a default name. This also looks like a default name, and we have our first battle. So there's my formation. Javelins on fire commands. These are some monkeys. Oh, need to turn. Like having grids and team colored squares on to easily see battle lines. Right. You can see me doing my smites and animate skeletons. Smiting down some monkeys. Throwing javelins. Of note, I think these stickin' stones, yeah, they do 7 damage for these guys, 2 damage for these guys. And with good shields, well, this guy wasn't lucky. But they're not going to do very effective damage on these giants with decent protection, good shields, and very high HP pools. Javelins go into melee. Avite swordmen join in behind them. Timing was a little off with the swordmen. Now they're stuck behind my weaker javelin men. There's one of our national unique undead. It's a long dead Raphite, and it's a very powerful skeleton chassis. A normal human undead at size 2 have, I think, 5 HP. But with pierce resistance and 20 HP, these are pretty good skeletons to get out. Also has very good damage, decent attack skills, good armor too. Gonna speed this up. Bunch of everyone in melee now. Smite still going off. I'll zoom out. And the monkeys are routing now. And that's the victory. Okay, in this battle report we lost 2 of the javelins. And we wiped them out. The javelins were the most effective, but that's also in part because the swordmen couldn't close into melee. Excuse me. You can see they killed 16 people, so I'm guessing that was a lot of friendly fire by the Independents. Heading to the map, you can see we have a lot of candle spread that turn. In the province we have 50 gold income, 7,000 population, 40 resources, so that's a pretty nice province. Comparing it to the other woods, it's about a similar looking province. Down here we can see this is a high population province with cavalry, and with our scout we can see this has Amazons and Pegasus riders in it, which should mean there's, is it crystal sorceresses? I think it's crystal mages in this province, so that's a pretty good sign. Next expansion, going here first to sort of push towards Saramadia, I believe. And I don't think I can handle this province defense, or not province defense, the independence in this province with my current standing army. My mage is starting out site searching immediately. He's not gonna follow the army this turn. In this province we see heavy infantry and slingers. The javelin men should do pretty efficiently against the heavy infantry, and the slingers should have trouble damaging us. If we look at our formation, looks like we're doing the same formation as before, just without the mage. In our capital, you can see our first mage was Astral 2. For recruitment, we're doing a bunch of, what's it, chariotmen? Yeah. We're also recruiting a commander to lead this expansion party, and finishing our one commander point into a mage. In this province, I do believe I'm recruiting an independent commander, but with these chariotmen, I believe I can just expand with it on turn 4. Don't want to wait until turn 5 for the independent commander to get there. You can see I have 5 infantry, and it looks like I'm getting, let's count, 3 chariots in that expansion party. A trick I'm doing is I'm adding extra infantry after the after what the resources allow. I haven't confirmed it fully, but it seems like when you expand and you're recruiting troops, those resources get sucked into the recruitment pool of the province. Like at the same turn you capture the province. So that's why I'm sort of doing that. I haven't confirmed it, but that's just a suspicion. I think that's it. No messages. Right, we will head to turn 4. Alright, Arco declares a prophet. I think that's a normal default name. So our site searching finds Gallows. That's a Death 1 site. So we got Death Gem Income started, which was cool, but not the nature we're hoping to find. Our battle. We see the Dependents have quite a bit of heavy infantry in this province, more than I was hoping. See how well our giants do. So this formation definitely isn't good. The enemy heavy infantry's clashing into our javelins before our swordmen are remote close to getting in there. Looks like they're barely surviving the damage so far. But we're definitely getting a couple losses. Our line's sort of filling out. Have a couple limping dudes, I imagine, and possibly crippled. Not just limping. We break the enemy heavy infantry. Speed it up. The slingers aren't going to be anything special. They run down and we win the fight. We lost another 2 infantry here. Smite only killed 1 person in that fight, so not super effective. So there's our gallows. So now that I sight searched, I'm gonna move this guy in with the army to help fight again. Since he has 18 map movement, he can sort of skip 2 provinces at a time, or like skip over a province to join a fight. And as far as sight searching goes, it doesn't make it any more efficient to say sight search this and then this and just like follow behind my army. Having him help contribute to the fight though might reduce my losses a little bit. So if you look at our formation still, we're still using the same formation, same animate, skeletons. In this province we have mostly militia, archers, heavy infantry, so it should be an easy fight. On the left here, our chariot army is heading out, and I think I recall last turn we could only recruit 3 charioteers before running out of resources, but looks like we have 4 here. Not sure why that is. We're again recruiting chariots, doing mages. Our formation here. Ooh, I don't like this. You don't really want 5 or less than 5 units in a squad, as you can have. You're at risk for early routing for having less than 5 units. We have these javelin infantry in front, and slightly to the side and behind them the chariots. So the aim here is for these infantry to soak up attack closest or fire closest commands, while the chariots can just sort of shoot into the front of the enemy. Commanders behind on hold, stay behind troops. That was the formation, right? We're hitting Lion Tribe archers, Lion Tribe warriors. This is a very easy province. There's no armor on anyone but the infantry, or the warriors do have shields, it looks like. I think we showed recruiting chariots again. Excuse me. More mages. Have this first monkey walking into the capital. He should be able to immediately lead the chariots to go expand. This province looks easy, but generally you want to like expand out so you can claim the most amount of land possible, so I probably won't go there. Probably looking to take this province or this province next. I think that covers that. We're on turn 4, so diplomacy out, and we'll do one last episode for turn 5. Scroll past it. Okay, 2 battles, and we have our first event, which spoils that we won that battle. So we have the archers targeting our infantry, which is what we want. Looks like our chariots are ignoring the front squad to hit the archers. Our javelins are shooting at the enemy infantry. I imagine these guys have javelins, yes, so. They're commencing the trampling. Here's their mage commander, no item on him. Spamming fine arrow. Got one of our chariots, but the chariot immediately breaks free. So, archers rout. Chariot killed the commander. they're chasing. So all the independents routed. You can see even surrounded, this chariot's soaking up damage pretty well. Has very nice 16 body protections, 19 head protections, so it's difficult for independents to harm them. Especially ones with little spears and not very impressive attack skill that 10. Okay, run over them. Win that battle. Next battle is our initial expansion army. Same formation, but we brought back the mage. This looks like a pretty small independent province. Still don't have the infantry on attack, but hold an attack. I'm not a fan of this tactic or setup. Undead running up, another 20 HP Raphite. You can see our javelin guys are getting pretty chewed up this fight. Probably lost another couple. Lost a dude there. So this undead summons is pretty nice for mitigating damage received. You can see like one undead soaked up the time of 3 of those heavy infantry, so helps keep our giants alive longer, avoiding damage. The skeletons keeping these independents busy. I'll speed it up. Stabbing some archers and they break. Okay, so we win that battle. Here we lost 3 javelin men. In the other battle we lost none. Our first event, brigands have taken up residence. 30 unrest. That's not good. Excuse me. I believe that means we need to patrol the province to get rid of them. Possibly. Or it's just unrest event and no chain events. So we see Sarumadia here. See he's expanding with archers, lancers, and gosh, how do you pronounce that? Oyorpatas? Totally pronouncing that wrong. The lancers are his cavalry. The Oyorpatas, gosh, can't say that. Are the sacred lizard cavalry. So indicates he's probably doing the bless for them to expand. From this point, we don't really want to bump this army. And we don't do well against barbarians, so we're going to ignore this. I doubt we can still do the Amazons, especially when we're just suffering more attrition through this battle, so we're going to head to this wasteland. It's not very worthwhile turn-wise, but we'll take it. It's land. It's always good to be taking whatever land you can get. On the left here, we're expanding left. Here are some Jade Maidens and Amazons. This is another indie mage province. It's going to be easier than these crystal independents. I'm very excited to see this, as the mage type here, I believe, gets water and nature and a random path. We don't have water access as a nation, so this is pretty incredible to find for us. It lets us craft frost brands and other water gear, which we'd love for our Malkurt spider. As far as expanding goes, let's see. We're hitting them Our third expansion party is heading to this wasteland. I don't recall specifically why I chose this. I think my thinking is that I want to like expand up here, and if Baratos hasn't like come down south here, I can beat him to this choke point and just cordon off all this land, sort of south of this mountain. But that's our third expansion party. It's turn 5, so we're doing very well. Next turn we're doing another chariot group, and it looks like we're starting Dawn Guard production after that. We have our next dependent commander walking in, have third mage being produced, and we see our little trickle of death income coming along. Our first Horite mage is site searching again, and I doubt I'm going to expand past here, but this is about as far as I want to go, with Saramadia's cap ring being right here. I definitely don't want to interfere with this cap ring. That'll just not make for good relations. Let's see, I think that covers this turn. Pre-expansion army is running around, recruiting our next turn. It's leadership. This scout is heading up towards Baratos here. I want to see what Baratos is doing. I would have expected him to like run down south either here or here. And that I don't see him here makes me question what might be going on. If you look here, he really only has 3 ways to expand. With Russ being right here, he can only like take this as a province, so it's not really worthwhile to rush up there, besides just to take this. He might be going left as a focus on expansion. Arcocephaly, I think, is in this province, so he might be like trying to push to the left to like push up here and get control. Baratos is one of those nations where you'd expect them to have an awake monster to expand. So that's primarily why I'm focusing my scouting on Baratos. Baratos is also a nation I'm interested in fighting early on, as it has a pretty weak early game, with it having difficulty of fighting what I plan to do later. So I think that covers up this turn and this episode. Thank you for watching. See you next time.